So to give us a completely different insight into how garages are perceived, I'd like to invite to the stage the founder of Foxy Drivers Club, Steph Savill.
Thank you very much indeed. Hello, I'm Steph Savill. I'm also known as Foxy Steph. But today I'm going to talk to you about marketing to women, and it's my passion within the motoring industry. And to set the title of my talk into context, I'd like to remind you that there are 18 million of us out there, 18 million women drivers on UK roads. And if we're not enjoying visiting garages, presumably we're not coming to you as often as we should. So that's the background behind my proposition. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to talk to you first of all about me, and then I'm going to tell you a story. I think I can move, yes, that's very good. I'm going to tell you a story about why I felt the need to set up a motoring club for women, what it does, and the fact that a female-friendly garage network and dealer network has emerged out of that, all part of the same business plan. So if I could first of all just start and tell you that I have a background in travel and tourism. So I'm not really a motoring industry person, although I have been involved in the industry now for almost 13 years. But travel and tourism, sales, marketing, and a bit of operational stuff. I've collected an MBA on my travels. I'm a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Marketing, and I'm also a fellow of the Institute of the Motor Industry. And one of my proudest moments since embarking in this motor industry career of mine, one of my most memorable occasions was when the IMI presented me with an exceptional services award for my contribution to the industry on behalf of women drivers, which came absolutely out of the blue and was a great surprise to me, because I haven't always been as complimentary about the motoring industry as I thought perhaps they might have expected me to be. I'm also proud to write a top 10 automotive blog, which again is very different from the other 9, which are mainly written by men, for men. I write as a woman, for women. And I'm passionate about tyre safety, and that's a different subject, but related. But I just want you to know that we have won awards for our work on online and social media services there. So I have, fast forward to now, I have 3 business objectives. My first one is to improve the level of motoring services that are on offer to women. The second is to work with the best businesses across the motor industry. They're the ones that are getting it right for women, of course. And the third one is late to the party really, because I didn't realise the missing link. And the missing link to make absolutely certain that women are getting better service levels and that businesses are upping their game to recognise what women want is I am now working hard to encourage more women to come into the industry. I want to see many more females sitting here in future years at conferences like these. So let me tell you, what's the club all about? Why on earth did I do it? It all started about 15 years ago when my stepdaughter came and stayed with us at Christmas. And she'd had her first solo garage experience when she'd been at college. She presented her father proudly with her garage bill, and very soon afterwards he was able to convince us that, well, through evidence, and showed us that the oil hadn't been changed, the filter hadn't been changed. Simple things, but you would need to know where to look to see that it hadn't been done. and she had been sold a couple of tyres. She paid a new tyre price, and my husband showed us both that they clearly weren't new. This is a long time ago. I spoke to the garage, didn't fare very well on her behalf, referred matters to trading standards, but the seed had been sown. I was working as a marketing consultant solo at that stage, so I had the time to do my homework, and I found out, I think the thing that really amazed me was I then discovered that the many areas of the industry that aren't, in my opinion, adequately regulated. And that was something that hit home with me, that anyone really could be repairing my car, my daughter's car, whatever. So I wasn't particularly happy about that. But I also did my homework on the demographics of women drivers, and the number of women drivers has increased dramatically over the last 30 years or so. And this obviously suggested to me, well, maybe there might be a business case, maybe mums and daughters like me and mine would react to a motor club offering that put their best interests first. I then spoke to family and friends were not all that impressed or knowledgeable about the motor industry, and that was another factor. I didn't have the ability or the finances to go out and survey women across the UK. It's also very difficult to do this, because when you're trying to do something new, it's very difficult to actually illustrate what it is you're trying to present to them. Would they be interested in a club? They wanted to know what's it going to look like, what's it going to do, you know, how much is it going to cost? I didn't know any of that. So my husband and I decided we'd just do it in any case. So it's now 13 years ago since we set up a motoring club. I could have called it the Women's Motoring Service or a Lady Drivers Club, and it was so boring for me. I thought, I'm never going to be able to feel comfortable. So I spent ages trying to get the name right. My husband nearly left me, I think, during that period. And he said to me, for God's sake, just stick an adjective on in front of it or something like that. Say Foxy. Say Foxy Lady. I thought, yes, this is it. So Foxy is a female brand. Foxy Lady means shrewd, canny and astute. And I say that's what, sadly, women need to be in the motor industry today. Now that happily reflects an awful lot of my personality in the way I see things. So it works quite well for me. Nowadays, we are a support network for women drivers. We're not a sales network as such, or a sales channel. We operate on a not-for-profit basis because we are now funded by a network of Foxy Lady approved, i.e. female-friendly garages and dealers that has come out of the business. It's a membership product. At present, it's a low-cost, lifetime subscription of just £24. I'm telling you this not as a sales pitch, but just as part of the story. And it includes potentially access to low-cost insurance, to affinity car buying schemes, motoring offers. But the big area that makes us different, I think, is that we actually are trying to provide support services for women and anxiety support services. And what I have discovered is that there are a lot of women who experience motoring anxiety, and that just might have something to do with the fact that they don't find garages welcoming places and they don't go to them enough. There may be an underlying reason for this that the industry isn't maybe recognising or addressing as yet. So, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about the network of garages and car dealers that we approve. And about a month after we launched Foxy Lady Drivers Club, phone rang and several times, and these were always really nice men on the phone. They said, we run a really nice garage, and we would make your Foxy ladies very welcome when they come to our garage. Oh my goodness, what have I done? You know, if I recommend people would go along to this garage, at the time we were supported by nationwide auto centres. So I did have a network in principle across the UK. It then dawned on me that I didn't know enough about the businesses that I might be sending women along to, but I knew that what I wanted was a standard. I wanted to be happy about the workmanship that I knew that the women would be experiencing. So our process is very simple. If a garage or a dealer comes to us, they're expected, first of all, minimum standard, they've got to sign the Foxy Lady Promise. And the Foxy Lady Promise is to never overcharge, never patronise, or never sell women anything they don't need. Good businesses across the UK will say to me, for goodness sake, we would never do that, we would never do that. And of course you wouldn't, but it's what women think you might, and that's why we start there. The second point is that we then look for minimum measurable standards. And the measurable standards that we are looking for are something that enable me to sleep in my bed at night. So the best that I can find in the industry are what I want to have as access to being a Foxy Lady approved business. Trading standards approved code of practice schemes, IMI professional register, and I'm extremely interested to learn more about the licensing scheme in terms of tyre fitting standards. That sounds right up our street. What do we expect? We expect businesses to use our logos, because it's tricky really, because the woman isn't necessarily always coming to the garage herself, but chances are she's organising the garage that her family is going to be visiting, and maybe organising booking cars in, and the husband or the partner or the dad or the brother may well be bringing the car along to the garage. Metrics can be a bit tricky on this one. So if they are using a logo on their website, they're showing that they are actually a cut above, reassuring women, wary women, anxious women who are looking for some distinction or the ability even to be able to go back to an independent organisation to say it wasn't absolutely perfect, or, you know, this business shouldn't be on the network. This is ridiculous. We welcome that sort of feedback. What we do is we're marketing these businesses, obviously, to women drivers at large. Google is our friend. We use the club website. We use a sister organisation website that we call Foxy Choice to run the business side of things for garages, etc. What we are is we are more a relationship marketing service rather than classified advertising or sales, which can make it a tricky sell on occasion. Feedback is absolutely critical to us, because when we get the female feedback, we say thank you on behalf of the business with a gift membership of the club. Once that lady is a member of Foxy Lady Drivers Club, we're actually keeping in touch with her on a monthly basis through a newsletter. That newsletter reminds her that she has a female choice of businesses, and that on whatever the occasion is, that she has a female choice of businesses that are better than the rest, in between her visiting her next visit to the garage. And of course we then invite her occasionally to invite her friends to join the club for free, and then of course hopefully they are local people who will then see the businesses in their area that are Foxy Lady approved as female friendly. None of what we do is magic. Critical is female feedback, but we are a true distinction for good garages that want to be seen to be doing the right thing from a business point of view. I would like to very quickly run through some of the lessons that I have learned. I have learned so much I really can't start to tell you. And I mean, it could be a massive talk, but I'll keep it simple. I really struggled coming into the motor industry 13 years ago, and I just didn't feel that my face fitted at all, but I'm a lot more comfortable about it now. The first point that I've learned is that women are different, not only from men, but women are different from themselves as well. There's 18 million of us. If you look at the profile in terms of car sales, it's said that we influence 80% of car sales. In America, they say we influence 90% of car sales. I say, you know, what about the other 10%, you know? So really, it's, I think we don't have statistics. We don't know how large the female influence is in the after-sales area, but I would suggest that it is going in this direction. 18 million women drivers, 22 million male drivers. The male driver figure is coming down, the female one is still going up on age demographics. At some stage, we'll reach parity. There may, at some stage, be more women drivers, etc. I never really felt that the industry got this, that things were changing. If we were to say that women are different from men, I just thought that I would mention perhaps shopping behaviour, including going out for a pair of trousers. I find this a little risky, but if my example of men could be based on the men that I know, and my husband in particular, I would say that when he goes out to buy a pair of trousers, it's usually because I've told him to. It's usually going to mean that he ends up with a pair that looks remarkably like the pair that he's been wearing for ages. And that he knows exactly where he's going to get this pair from. He knows the size, and he can do the transaction really quickly. He'll go, he'll do it. He's got trousers that just look like more modern or cleaner versions of the trousers that he's been wearing for ages, whereas women, I hasten to add, may take a little longer to do that transaction, like a week online, talking to friends, looking at fashion, making a day of it, going out for lunch, trying it on, does my bum look big in this, all that sort of thing. It's just different. I'm not saying that this converts into the motor industry, but female mechanical knowledge ranges widely. It's difficult from a customer-facing point of view. Some women are engineers, some women are mechanically more savvy than many men, and it can be tricky to recognise that when you're talking to them, but the majority of us aren't. And I will talk very briefly about the IMI survey in a minute, and some findings that I think bear this out. But at present, from a female point of view, she doesn't know her choices. She doesn't know why her choice matters. She goes to local because it's convenient. She thinks that a friendly receptionist might be an indication of a good garage. We know it isn't. And she thinks that she should be buying cheap. We know that's wrong in an industry that isn't licensed, etc. Very quickly, female attitudes. A survey I found particularly interesting was the IMI that confirmed, and remember, 18 million is the total size of the female audience. In the IMI survey, 1 in 4 women had never had their car serviced by a professional mechanic. They waited until the annual MOT told them that something was wrong with their car. Now I just make the point, wow, what an opportunity. And it's such a shame that they don't know better that the MOT is safety related on the day, and that if they invested a little bit in their car, that would be the way to go forward, and the longer lasting car. 1 in 3 knew nothing about cars, 1 in 5 felt they had been overcharged. And the same old stuff is coming up time and time again. It's jargon, we don't feel comfortable, it's not our sort of environment, that sort of thing. All of this is confirmed to me when I talk to club members and women in networking situations. It's difficult really because many women don't find motoring particularly interesting. A lot of women delegate motoring matters to a male. And of course, the point is that it's up to her really to look after her car and decide how it is maintained. So I say that there's a huge business opportunity for us all to help her understand about good garages and what her choices are. I put equality on the list. Lots of garages say to me, Stephanie, we don't feel the need to market separately to women because we're wonderful. We're so honourable, so honest, we treat everyone the same fantastically. And then I sort of think, well, think of the facts and the figures. If there's 18 million of us, if we're not happy with standards as are, you're not getting it right. It's just not right for women. Or if you are doing it so much better than others, why aren't you shouting about it? So I would say that equality, in this respect, equality is vital, don't get me wrong. Pay, terms and conditions, that's where equality really matters. From the point of view of customer service, I feel very strongly that women do not want to be treated like men. If you are a female-friendly business, shout it out, make sure she knows, because whilst you might know an awful lot of female customers, there are loads more out there, wary women, who don't know that you're better than the rest. From a strategy point of view, that's a bit of my marketing strategy is my particular area, but I know that when businesses sign up to being female friendly in the boardroom, the scheme works. It's seen as a distinction, or by the business owners. At least they recognise it as being a distinction and something to be proud of. But it is never a short-term sales fix. You don't just put a logo in your window to say you're female friendly and expect the Foxy ladies to roll in. We're not that daft. Measurable signs of quality, I've mentioned those before. Whatever they are, if you've got it, flaunt it, but think about your customer, your end customer. We are baffled by all the acronyms around. Only tell us things that are a really strong selling point. Trade associations are wonderful things, but there are 48 of them in the motor industry at present, and women very rarely see the benefits of them. I hasten to add that obviously NTDA may prove to be an exception on that. I'm not going to cover much on customer experience. I'm just going to say that I find many websites to be boring beyond belief from a female point of view, and I think it would be good to look at websites with a different pair of glasses on. Parking is something that dealerships very often do badly. You'll get sent into an area to park and there's no parking spaces, and you're then expected to reverse out or do very tricky three-point turns. I hate that. If you're stressed and you're very anxious, that's not a good impression. I can go into a business, I can open the doors, I can look around, and I think I can almost smell whether a business is female friendly at that stage, just by glancing the room. Cleanliness is terribly important to me. Even new businesses, brand new businesses, aren't always as clean as they should be. Bins, corners in rooms, etc. And the thing I hate most of all is checking out customer toilets. There are some absolutely gross ones around. If they're not clean enough, good enough, or modern enough, you're much better not making them available, in my opinion. I've put female feedback up there. If women are to be treated differently from men, or would like to be treated differently from men, I don't think you should necessarily lump them together in terms of feedback. I think you actually want to look at what they might be telling you separately because of their influence and significance. And the last thing on there is to say more women needed. I've mentioned that already. There aren't any gender stats in this particular sector, but obviously next year is the time when gender will matter, because we're looking at the gender pay gap. I think what will happen next year will be that the industry will realise just how few females work in it. It is better than it was. It's still a long way short of being equal or good enough in my book. And I've just got here, female staff want to work in female-friendly industries and business. It isn't just the customers. If you are recruiting, if you are looking to recruit some of the brightest brains and graduates and GCSE students, this industry has got to present itself as a female-friendly one, so that they want to join it. Nearly there, guys. Yeah, I think the win here, and what I've been trying to get at is the opportunity is present yourself as female friendly. The aim is, it's not short term, it's medium term, it's the right thing to do, to be her female choice of garage, and from a recruitment point of view, to be her female choice of employer with a view to the future. Get it right for women, and they will be very loyal, they'll influence others, they'll spend more money with you, and they will tell their friends, and you'll have a better choice of staff to choose from in future, I hope. We are fussy, of course. You have got to get it right for us. And I'd just like to say thank you very much indeed for asking me to speak today, and I am looking forward to learning a lot more about the tyre industry. I'll be staying for the rest of the day, and I'm at the awards tonight, and good luck to anyone who's an entrant. Thank you very much for your time.
And already we're working with Steph in a number of areas, and I'm delighted to say there's a couple of things I'd like to share with you, Steph. First of all, in tonight's awards, in the Apprentice of the Year, we have 2 female finalists. Both are absolutely exceptional technicians, so good luck to them, of course, and all the other finalists. But some of the advice and guidance that Steph gave me when we first met, I used when I did the mystery shopping exercise for the retail centres. And some of these perceptions that our female colleagues and friends have got out there about the retailers and the garages and that whole experience, it actually transcends across both genders. And any gender that people wish to identify themselves with, because the fact of the matter is, cleanliness, good customer service, good communication, we all want that, don't we? At the end of the day, we all want that great customer experience.